Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Debra Eckerling, goal strategist, book proposal specialist, and author of Your Goal Guide and 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting. You can't reach your goals on your own, you need your people. So every week I bring together some of my people to dive into whatever topic we decide. And this is really funny. Okay, so you might be watching this as GoalChat Live, or the replay, or listening to us as the GoalChat podcast, but we are recording this on Groundhog Day. And I'm like, okay, great, Groundhog Day. We're going to talk about changing old habits. And then I live in LA, so I was watching the call today to see if the groundhog saw his shadow. And I'm like, oh, wait, it's about winter. It's not just about change, but is not winter about change as well?
Mm-hmm.
I can thread together 2 points, no matter how out of the blue. You are welcome. And I'm really thrilled about how this panel came about because, like I said, it was inspired by Groundhog Day, and we all need to change habits. I mean, even the best of us, I'm sure there is room for improvement, right? But I saw my friend Kee Kee Buckley for the first time in over 10 years when she was in LA a couple weeks ago with her book, Seeking Shama. And I'm like, I have a show. And she's like, you have a show? And I'm like, what is wrong with the algorithm? I've been doing this since 2020, but perfect opportunity. And I've been working with Leslie, who's one of my book proposal clients, and Troy, who has had a kid and a birthday since he was last on the show. And Troy's spilled a secret in 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting. So he was on, I know, around last year, but so much in life has changed, but it basically came from the thread of Kee Kee talking about her book and how circumstance put her on this path, which I will actually let her explain. And then talking with Leslie, who's all about helping people get, I'm going to put this really simply, get over themselves and move forward. And then we've got Troy Sandidge, who's the strategy hacker, which basically it's like your life, your choice, mix things up and create the life you want, which, by the way, I am so all about. If you know me, you are nodding. You know this is true. But I would love for my guests to introduce themselves because pretty much all you know is they're awesome and they've got good things to say. And I'm pretty sure they could get a little more detail. So Kee Kee, let's start with you. Who are you? Yeah, we'll just do that, and then we'll dive into why you you can answer this, and then we'll dive in more. But who are you, and why the subject of change really spoke to you to join us?
Well, I'm Kee Kee Buckley. I'm an author, and I am a rock band manager, and I'm a filmmaker. And I just published a book called Seeking Shama, Me, My Dog, and the Road to Inner Peace. And it's about a 5-month road trip that I took with my dog, driving around the country, seeking change and looking for inner peace.
Because if you don't look for it, it's not going to find you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't have to drive around the country to find it, but I did. And I learned a lot.
Wait, you don't have to take a road trip to the end of the country in order for your life to change? Is that what you're saying?
No. Nope, you don't. But I had to take that road trip to figure that out.
Interesting. Yeah. Love that. Well, I'm excited to have you here, and I'm glad that LA brought you back into my orbit. So
yeah, me too.
For that. Leslie, who always gets the award for being the furthest traveled to this virtual zone, live from Scotland. Welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to be here. Totally jealous, Kee Kee. I want to get in a van with a dog and go like everywhere.
You can do it.
I know I can. I will probably at one point. But I'm Leslie Marsh, and I am coming to you from just outside of Glasgow in Scotland. And and here's the new one, Debra.
Oh, okay, can't wait.
I am a mind methodologist. So basically, I'm taking the methodology of the mind and all that madness that is in there and telling you that, yes, it does matter. Because if it's on your mind, it really does matter. And we're going to get it off your mind and out of the way. So you can see how to get in that van and go.
Mind methodologist. I love making up words, especially when they are that appropriate. So really excited to have you here in chat. Well, I always love chatting with you all. I mean, this is whenever anybody says, "Hey Deb, what's your favorite networking activity?" I just say my show, because I can connect with new friends or reconnect with friends I haven't seen in a while, including my friend Troy. Hi, Troy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, amazing humans. I'm Troy Sandidge, new girl dad. Yay.
Hi.
I just had a birthday 2 days ago. Wow. And I have been in marketing for 15 years. And beyond my titles, I just like to connect humans to achieve their goals. Simply put, that's what I do. That's what I love to do. Just wake me up in the morning and brings me so much joy. And I hope you get joy watching and listening to this show right now. So all good energy.
Well, and that word joy, well, first of all, it's not a 4-letter word like goal, even though I always say the goal is the good kind of 4-letter word. But if you are not finding joy in your life, I'm not going to say what the heck is wrong with you, because that would be mean and completely off brand. But if you are not in that spirit, in that zone, what can you do to bring yourself there? Because there is so much we have absolutely no control over. I'm sure we can agree. And it's good that we've got all the joy things going on. And I'm just like beyond felling for Troy and his happy little additional hyphen as girl dad. But if you don't have that levity, that enjoyment in your life, what can you do to change it? And so today we're talking about changing habits, because I think that that's a big part of it. People get in the habit of their life being a certain way. And this is really, I've been doing goal stuff for years, but what inspired your goal guide is I got tired of watching people being miserable at work. It's like, you're commuting an hour and a half each day to a job you hate. What is wrong with you? I mean, what can which again, negative off the brand, but what can you do to bring into your life to up the joy factor so the things that stress you out are going to have less of an impact? So what is a habit? Let's start with the basics. What is a habit? And then why the heck are they so hard to change? But let's do the first question first. Kee Kee?
A habit. I'm going to go big here and say, because this was my issue for a long time. My habit was labeling myself as film executive. And then I felt like I had this identity that I had to feed, even though a lot of my life didn't really resonate with me. And I felt like my family and my peers expected me to be a certain way. And because of that, I had a habit of living a way that wasn't fulfilling. And I had to realize I could break free of that. And I had to give myself permission to be someone who I had never been before. And it's been like such a great journey. I've grown so much. I've changed so much by giving myself permission to not wear that cloak of identity that I had always labeled myself as.
And I think that career identity it's the one I referenced before. It's where a lot of people get stuck because, okay, where did Leslie go? She'll be back. It's where people get stuck because they put in all this time and education. Like, okay, I'm here, I made it. Everybody thinks your life is wonderful, but they're not living your life. And
right.
I think, right?
And I really, truly believe that the greatest gift you can give yourself, or that you can give your family or your friends, is permission to be someone other than who you have always been.
Ooh, I love that.
That's
true. Well,
yeah.
And as you know, I'm all about embracing change by choice. Doesn't always have to be circumstance, but for you, it was. But we'll get into that in a minute. Troy, how do you define a habit?
I've been working on myself on this, so this feels very enlightening and perfect timing to reflect. For me, a habit is something you do subconsciously, but many times we then put that as a habit when really, once you're aware, it becomes a choice. So you are now choosing to stay in that environment, choosing to make that excuse, choosing to do those things, because now that you're aware of it. A habit to me is like a tick, something that I just unconsciously do. And it's just, I need to work on that. Now, obviously, you can expand the habits. This is just my interpretation where I'm at with my life right now for my own self-development and growth. And to wrap that up, I think once we identify our habits and once we're aware of our choices, align that now to what your goals are. And what Kee Kee said was perfectly aligned. I'm still working on that myself, as that, I've been in this space. I've been doing this thing for so long. Mm-hmm. You can change your life at any point in your life. If you reflect back on where your life has been up until this point, it's gone. All you have now is today and whatever in that dash you have left. So make the change. Mm-hmm. It's scary, I know, but we do this cycle every year. You come on and watch and listen to this show every day. Every time Debra comes on, and we repeat ourselves with like, are you going to make the change or not? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know if I should. I'm going to read your book. I'm going to read these books. But actually do the change. And I think that's the part where we want to acknowledge it's hard. But if you don't do it, look what you're leaving on the table. But if you do it and get through the little rough part, it's going to be great. So, yeah.
I am... I love this. Well, you're speaking my language. Change is a choice. And I was interviewed on someone else's show earlier today, and I say this all the time. I only talk about goals the beginning of the year and in December because it would look really goofy if I didn't. I talk about goals year round because every day, every week is an opportunity to rethink your life and change a habit, set goals, and create the life you want. Leslie, you have returned.
Again. I have returned. You see, I have a habit of dipping in and out of things. So,
and what is your definition?
To get that one in there.
I appreciate it. What is your definition of a habit?
Basically, a habit is something that you start doing, you think you like it, or it becomes something that's a routine. It's a bit like how a river begins to a certain extent. It starts off with this little drop, then it becomes a trickle, and then it starts to really move. And once it gets going and it gets into flow, it's very hard for that river to stop flowing the way it's flowing. But it does have edges. And those little edges start to play around with the banks, and it changes where it is and how it's going there. So all we have to do is actually dam up part of the river, perhaps, and find a little place to go that's around the corner. I mean, the Buddhists always says, well, you cannot step in the same water twice in a river because it's always in flow. And we are always in flow. We are always changing. We just have this terrible habit of thinking that we hate it.
Yep.
We have a habit of thinking that we hate change.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's pretty interesting.
It's a very bad habit.
Well, it is. Well, and so before we go down that, I want to thank Meryl, who's watching us live from Frozen, New Jersey, and who invited a bunch of friends, as he does every week, to watch us live. So thank you. And welcome to Christy, who is another one, I'm guessing, of Meryl's friends. Anyone else, whether you're tuning in live or the recap, what do you think? A habit, good, bad, changeable? And look, the disappearing Leslie has again returned.
She's back.
Oh, hey. Oh.
Okay.
Are you doing this on purpose? Are you doing this on purpose now?
Absolutely not.
You're making me dizzy.
I apologize. My habit is my habit. And if you're just listening to this, just kind of roll with it. And this is the other reason why I love the show so much. So it's live. And then the replay, I do not edit at all. So you get all the fun and chaos of as if you were here live or Memorex or whatever. So I like the idea of the puddle, the drop that expands. What happens though, when you don't just step into that puddle, you just stomp into that puddle and splash everywhere? Is that the thing to do with habits or only the bad ones? What do you think?
I think that's quite joyful to do, really. It's quite a joyful thing to splash in puddles, and we forget to remember that we used to do that. That we can still do that. We can still get a pair of wellies on, and we can still jump into a puddle every now and again. However,
What
with
did
my
you
luck,
call
it would
them?
be a wellies.
Boots?
Wellington boots. Wellington
Okay.
boots. Yes. We
Or
call
you
them
can do
wellies.
it barefoot, Leslie. You can do it
Well, you could
barefoot
do.
too.
You could do, but not
Yeah.
in this country. Basically, Billy Connolly did a song. If it wasn't for your wellies, where would you be? It's a very interesting song, and it's quite funny. But it's true. We have this space between where we are and where our habits are. And in that puddle, we protect ourselves from jumping into that puddle and getting our feet wet. Because we don't kind of like getting our feet wet, because then we have to go about the business of drying them and going in between our toes, and then we might find things we don't want to find. So a lot of it has got to do with whether or not we're going to take the leap, whether or not we're going to see our shadow and actually do the same thing that we always did, or whether we're actually going to go, oh, I wonder what would happen if, and be curious and go and jump about in every puddle we can find and just disrupt the pattern.
Okay, so I changed the original question from how do you change habits to how do you change habits / splash into puzzles, into puddles and puzzles, because goals, life, it's a puzzle, but how do you splash into puddles? The other reason that I love what you just said is I found myself saying this a lot lately, is you don't necessarily need to take a leap of faith. You could take a hop of faith. You know, you could do just one little thing. You don't need to change everything. You don't need to splash. You can, even if you just dip your toe in, it's going to make things different. So, Troy, how do you change habits / into puddles?
I think so many times people focus on the internal, like you need to be in a certain mindset. I need to be ready, which is a fallacy. You'll never be ready for anything. You got to do it or you don't. Just put it out there. But I think we don't embrace enough of what external factors and things out of our control actually force us to make those necessary changes. And once we stop trying to be like, why does this keep happening? Maybe it's everything, whether you want to say universe, faith, whatever you want to acknowledge that to being, is saying you aren't doing enough. So we trying to get on you to make sure you be the best version of yourself, the version that you need to be in this next phase and chapter of your life. I would know. I've always wanted to be a dad. I never thought I was going to be a dad. And I had accepted for the longest time I wouldn't be a dad. And then I became one. And everything that I knew about my life literally reset. Yes, we had to embrace new things and adjust new things, and my identity has shifted. But ultimately, to make those changes, it took external factors. So thankfully, the baby came, and now, oh my goodness, I'm actually doing a better job as a version of me that I'm proud of. Not that I wasn't before, but I'm more intentional with my time because I have a bigger reason why. I say no more that I struggled my whole life of saying. I can say no like air at this point now, which is a hard thing for a recovering people pleaser to do. So I think sometimes we need to embrace what external factors are going to allow us forces beyond our own preconceived notions and self-esteem issues to make the actual steps. Even as like we said, put that big toe in the puddle, whatever. And if it's just your family, let that be your why. Sometimes it's not about you. It's the external factors that help you push you to that next level. And then you're like, wow, it wasn't that bad. I'm actually doing better. But we get stuck in that uncertainty step. And when we can do that, we'll see what happens.
Okay, so I distilled everything that you just said into be intentional with your actions. That is the step one for changing any habit, right?
100%.
And I love, and just if you're watching, Troy is smiling a lot. He always smiles a lot when we're chatting, but you now have like this bonus glow.
Yeah,
like
the better
bonus,
lighting in here too. But yes.
Puzzle. But I am also very grateful that you're being very intentional with your decisions. But the fact that one of your decisions was to be on here, amazing. Okay, we just all adore each other so much. That's what we love about GoalChat. Kee Kee, what do you recommend? How do you change habits / splash into puzzles? Puddles. I said it again. You think I
It's
know
a
my
tongue
words better?
twister. Okay, so I used to be a type A overachiever, had the plan for my life, and change, I was desperate for change, but change was so scary. It was so big. And so I was frozen and I didn't make a change. And I think the way you change habits and start to splash in those puddles is to realize and really like own the fact that change is happening all the time. Like change, like in the world, in your life, in your relationships, you know, even the way you look, like everything is changing day to day, and you can't stop that. And as soon as you embrace the fact that change is a constant, it gets easier and it gets more playful and it gets less scary to do something different and to jump in that puddle and just be free.
Okay, so, but this is something that we've all heard before. You know, the only thing consistent is change.
Right.
And it's an important note. And it's great. How do you get out of the logic spiral for that one?
Yeah, that's a toughie. And I think you start small. And like one thing that I do at my book events is I do something called the I Welcome Change sticky note challenge, which started like on my road trip. I had a decade-old sticky note that said I welcome change that I put on my dashboard. And it was kind of my guiding beacon of hope as I drove around the country. And what I do when I want to change, and I encourage other people to do, is take sticky notes and write one micro change that you want in your life and stick it in places all around your house. So like there was one man that came to one of my events that wrote, I welcome being less judgmental. And then he put the sticky notes like on his bathroom mirror and on his coffee maker and in his sock drawer, places that he would see it throughout the day to remind him that, oh, I can make this little change. And I think that's where change starts. It starts little and eventually the changes build and you all of a sudden notice a big change in your life and a different relationship to change.
Okay, great. So we are going on this tangent. What is your fill in the blank to I welcome? And other panelists, you know, I'm going to ask you, but I will also answer this because I remember doing the sticky note thing at your signing. So what is your I welcome?
For me?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a good one. I'm really busy right now with the band that I'm managing and I'm having trouble taking a breath. And so right now I welcome a pause in each day. Just a
Ooh,
pause to find some quiet in each day.
that's great. Okay, Leslie, what do you welcome?
I welcome curiosity.
Oh, good one.
Okay, Troy.
I welcome failure.
Oh, that's
I need to
great.
get the better we get more comfortable
Mhm.
with failing. Failing doesn't mean you're awful. That is the end. It's just of something that didn't work. Try again. Ooh. And if I gamify it, I think like Super Mario Brothers, I failed 1,000 times to get to that next level. Once I did, I felt
Yeah.
amazing. Why can't we bring that same energy to our lives? So I welcome failure.
Okay.
I look at failure as the building blocks of your life. You know, you need to fail to grow. So I love that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you look at all the things that go on, there have been so many failures beforehand, but it's the keeping going. It's like that little tube of stuff that you get that opens doors and unsticks keys and things. WD-40. I mean, basically, it's WD-40 because it took 39 failures
Oh,
to get it to
yeah.
where it was. You
Yes.
know, and it's the most famous failure going.
Yeah.
And it actually allows you to succeed in getting through places and getting things unstuck. So, you know, failure
Oh,
is two-sided coin.
Okay, so my
yeah.
I welcome is like the opposite of failure. Well, so and this is what I put on the sticky note at your book event is I welcome the spotlight. So I am
Oh,
very good at
yeah.
shining the light on other people.
Uh-huh.
And this year I'm being intentional about also shining light on myself and my clients. But you know, the cobbler, the batteries light up. The batteries dye on the light bulb, the flashlight up. And I'm doing a really bad analogy, but the whole point is, well, as you all know, and if you've been tuning in for a while, you know this, I am all about helping people create the life that they deserve and desire. And whether it's through goals, through my books, or they want to get a book deal through my book proposal services, I am all about helping people embrace who they are and how they show up in the world. And I can't do that for other people unless I'm doing it also for myself. So there you go.
That. I love this game. This is fun.
It is fun. What other fill in the blanks? Okay, so Leslie, did you fully answer the question about you splash into puddles?
I think that basically the splashing into puddles, there are good habits and there are bad habits. And good habits are the things that keep you moving along, keep you in flow. And the bad habits are the ones that the kind of somebody's just thrown a rock in your puddle, you know. But even at that, the disturbance, these pebbles of doubt, perhaps, that come in, that you're walking along and you think, yeah, I can do that, and then suddenly you're thinking, well, maybe no, do I want to? You've just dropped a pebble of doubt, and you're in the still water of where you want to go, in that pool of tranquility that you're kind of just sitting in, waiting for. And I think that it's like when you disrupt the water, it does come back again. It will smooth out again, and it will actually return to its original form. So if you really want to change it, you have to give it somewhere to go. You have to give it somewhere to go. And you have to allow for the natural process of things drying up and becoming wet again and drying up and doing that. And we get into this kind of habit of just being in that kind of, yeah, I'm in this way, this is going to go like this. And then somebody comes along with a big brick and goes, yeah, have that one. And the thing is that we are the most adaptable species on the planet. And that's why we get ourselves into so much trouble. And we forget to remember that. Because if we had really, really remembered that and understood that, then we would be making real progress in changing not just our own habits, but the habit of society at large, in how we see things, how we do things, how we utilize things, and how we waste things.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're doing that, we could be thinking, how do we start that? Well, we start that with thought. It's if we think we can do it, then we can do it. And then if somebody else thinks that we can do it because you think you can do it, then and it's like a social disease. It'll just keep going. So,
but the good kind.
Yeah, the good thing. Yeah. The social disease.
I feel like, I mean, it's really great to like change the world, but I also think we need to start with ourselves, which is how many
but
things.
if you change your mind, you change your world.
Oh, yes.
And by doing that, when you look at it from a different perspective, once you've changed that perspective, then you see the world as a whole different place.
Oh, I wasn't disagreeing with you. I'm absolutely with you. It's the change starts from going back to what I was saying a few minutes ago. It's knowing who you are and what you have to offer the world, and also like really leaning into it. Because if you're not leaning in and showing up as your most powerful self, first of all, no one's going to know. And second of all, it's going to be limiting for the people around you.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Sorry, Kee Kee.
Okay.
There's the habit that we have of and we did it earlier on. Who are you? When someone asks that question, who are you? What do we answer? Do we answer with who we are? Or do we answer with I am a?
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Let's ask that question. Leslie, who are you?
I'm a child of the universe. I'm me. I'm a person who is actually self-actualizing every day.
Love it. Troy, who are you?
I'm a kid from Chicago who came from nothing, blue collar family, who thought I can do anything and strive every day to make impact beyond myself. I'm a synergist and I am learning to love life more every single day. Because every day I may not have been here, but I'm grateful every time I am here.
Ah, love that.
Wow.
And a girl dad. Okay, Kiki, who are you?
I am a woman who is learning to live life in the moment, and I'm learning to live life filled with light and inner peace, and loving being a wife and a dog mom, and trying to let go of the fact that I used to define myself by my career.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm going to let you each answer this question, and we're going to start with you, Kiki. What was your big aha, I'm stuck, help me out of here moment? Was there like a moment?
Yeah. Well, no, I think the moment was when I created my I Welcome Change post-it note challenge, or post-it note, sticky note. I was a Hollywood executive. I was on the phone negotiating a deal with this A-level actor, with his agent, who was making all of these demands about wanting a personal trainer on set and blah, blah, blah. And I just remember thinking, I don't care about this. I don't care about the actor. I don't care about the movie. I just took my pen and I doodled on a sticky note, I welcome change. And that's when my whole relationship with change started. And that, for 10 years, I looked for change and I was afraid to make a change because I had those, golden handcuffs. And, that was the defining moment. And then when I got in my car 10 years later and started driving around the country, that's when change finally started to happen.
Okay, and this is an important lesson. It took you a while to get from I need to do this to actually doing this, which I think is really common, right?
I think, it's like there's so many of us that are desperate for change, but terrified of it at the same time. So, it took me a long time, way too long, or it took just the amount of time it was supposed to take.
It took the amount of time it was supposed to take. I love how you reframed it. Troy, did you have one of those aha things?
I'm gonna get real vulnerable because I don't really share this moment too much. So I think this is appropriate. I'm priming for a moment so I don't cry. But running story for me, mine is all my accolades. I stayed in the same apartment with my wife for 10 years. It's 700 square feet, humble beginnings. We couldn't do much, but we made it work. And every time I want to get out, I get a new job, I make all this money for these companies, and something would always stop us from leaving the apartment. And the running joke was we would never get out of this place. We would never get free. We never get a place of our own. It just felt tight. And I would tell everyone about it. I would complain about it all the time. And maybe this aligns with you in some parallel universe. And I would just complain. I'm like, I can't get out of this prison. I can't do it, no matter what I've done. And one day I realized, I'm like, enough's enough. If you've done all this for everybody else and you've made the money, but it didn't trickle down to you, well, you need to negotiate up. You need to not compromise your value just for what feels safe. You need to make enough to get you out of here. And so I spent that whole year client working, while working a job, while networking, while speaking, all this stuff. And I didn't spend anything. I just kept stacking. And when we left, I said, we're going to have a movers. We're not going to lift a finger. They're going to take our stuff where we need to go, across to another state. We're going to have a place at 5 times the square feet we've ever had in our entire life. And we're going to sit and enjoy it. And we did. Mm-hmm. And all that because I finally acknowledged that, hey, there's a lot of things I can't control, but I can do the things that I can control and not be scared. I can still do it while being scared. That's the thing. I'm not bravery isn't the lack of scare or scarcity. It's I'm going to do it despite me being afraid of what could happen, because the fear of me going one more year in that apartment and looking my wife in the eye and saying, we're sorry, I don't have the money to move. I couldn't do that. I couldn't live with that another day. And so that forced me to make those changes, stack the paper, do what was necessary to make it happen. Took a year, but here we are. And I'm enjoying every minute of it in solace because of that.
And when did you move?
It'd be 3 years as of May.
Nice.
Yeah.
And did energy shift in your life when you finally got to the new space?
Oh, 100%. It was like a weight lifted, and I'm just seeing like sunshine and rainbows every single day because it's like I never thought I would get out of this place. And I think everyone has that thing that they think they would never break free from, they never get out of, they never lose the weight, they never get the job, they never get the diploma, whatever that is. But then when you do it, you're like, wait, and that would I'll be done in a second. The other thing that people don't talk about is once you get on the other side of it, your whole identity was, as Kiki mentioned, you were so wrapped up in that thing. You're like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So it's a whole reset.
Oh my goodness. And both of these really powerful, little big things, right? Leslie, you got one of these to share? Or
Well,
pick
little things
one.
mean a lot.
Pick
Well,
one.
basically, it's the anti-recognition. It's the aha moment that happens, and then you forget about it because so much other stuff is going on, and you're living down to other people's expectations, and you kind of just sit there and you wallow in this kind of mud pie at the bottom. And I used to say, like the identity thing that we were talking about just a minute ago. I used to say, I'm a veterinary nurse. My name is Leslie. Because I was my job. My job was me. That was my identity. And like Troy was saying, I couldn't see my identity beyond that job. So it was very, very surprising to me. I can't tell you. I mean, I couldn't have been more surprised if somebody had slapped me on the face with a wet fish. But when that happened, when it happened and a Rottweiler came into my life one night at 3:00 in the morning and tore my rotator cuff, so I couldn't work with animals anymore. And I was like, well, what the hell am I going to do now? Because, people scare the hell out of me. People are like, I can do the dogs. I could take the Rottweiler. I could take anything that was coming at me with teeth left, right, and center. Human being? Not so sure. And, but all of this had been working on the background because I wasn't recognizing it, because I was in the habit. It was my habit. It was my sense, my zone of familiarity was this place where I could hide, where I could be safe. And nobody expected anything else of me apart from what I did, which actually wasn't as simple as it sounds, but it was a hiding place. And my aha moment was that moment with that Rottweiler. When I looked at his eye and he looked at my eye, and I thought, oh dear, here we go. This isn't going to end well. And next thing I know, I'm doing NLP, I'm doing hypnosis, I'm talking to people, and they don't bite. Well, some of them do. But
Not on Zoom, they don't.
Yeah, you do have to clean up some of the mess after them sometimes. It's a different kind of mess, so it's okay.
And the other point, which I think is a common theme, is, well, especially for what you just said, Leslie, is if you don't make change, sometimes the universe makes change for you.
Oh yeah, that exactly was that was a good slap on the backside. That was a case of get up, move. You've got something to do.
I have a friend years ago. She was doing too much, and she tripped over her dog and broke a toe. And whenever I have this kind of conversation, that's like the least of someone's problems. That's like the least impact thing that tells someone to stop going in so many different directions. We need that because it's very easy, especially for solopreneurs, as we all are, one-man bands as they were, although Kiki, the band is your husband's that you manage.
Yeah.
So you do have a little bit of a partnership in there, but the majority of the things that we do is, it's just easier to do it myself. Or we've got, as we say in Hollywood, multiple projects at various stages of development. And we kind of like it that way, but we can't do everything all of the time, or else the universe will tell us. Okay, if you're listening, everybody is smiling and nodding. We get it. Okay, so step number 1 to change for habits is to identify them. right? See what
Mhm.
works, see what you need to get rid of. And then number 2 is to face whatever is stopping you from changing. Is that, did I make it simple enough?
Oh yeah.
Identify,
Yeah.
find the blocks, change them.
It's like
Is it-
finding yourself down the same cul-de-sac all the time. And you think that you're doing something different, but you keep finding yourself up against the same wall. And actually the wall is of your own making. Most of the time the wall is of your own making. And so all you have to do is take a brick out, one brick, and have, hello, what's in there? And then say, oh, I want to see what's on the other side.
If you make the wall, you can break the wall.
Mm.
Exactamundo.
What about people who, what about the external forces? Because some things are out of our control. Troy, do you have a good example of breaking an actual metaphorical wall that was not of your own making?
I think, I know there's a lot going on in the world and it's a safe space. And Dave, you've always created a safe space with great diverse perspectives, which is always helpful and holistic. For me, I'll just be blunt. My skin is a wall. That is my thing I have to navigate in every single day of my life. I can't change it. I'm proud of it. But I acknowledge that that could be a blocker in some opportunities and some things are harder. But the thing about life is that there's more than one way to get to where you need to go. And I think that's something we all need to remember. Just because someone gives you advice on how you should do a certain thing, that doesn't mean literally that's the only way, the only possible way to do it. We have this thing called a GPS now. If I might be the last generation that remembers MapQuest and printing out instructions and reading a real map to get you somewhere in the country at this point. But now we have a GPS. Okay, we took a detour. Okay, I'm not saying that traffic jam was terrible. I'm not saying the weather is not good, it's bad. But if you still want to get to a destination, you still have an opportunity to get there. So for me, it was acknowledging that this is not going away. So are you going to just sit here and complain that the world is not fair, that some people have other time, more advantages than you, or are you still going to do it anyway? And so I'm choosing daily, I might add, to do it anyway and acknowledge that despite this thing, we can still do it. And last thing I'd say, if people will help you, you can't do it by yourself. So we ask for help. Deb is always subtly, hey, Troy, how are you doing? And those little things go a mighty long way. Ask for help, support people, and see what happens.
Because you can't reach your goals on your own. That's what community is for.
Mhm.
And I remember, and I think we can all remember how the world went from analog to digital. And in those early computer days, there were always 3 ways to do anything. There was the mouse, the shortcut, and I forgot what the third thing was. But I think that's an important life thing is you can break down the wall, you can build the tunnel, you can ask someone to lift you over it.
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember as well that we are, when we're doing this kind of work, we're all catalysts. And it's not just we who are catalysts. Everybody in the world is a catalyst, because you're having a simple conversation with someone and you say something and it lands and you don't even know what it was you said. Because it's landing with them because of how they are, what they're feeling, what their thoughts are going on with. But you're absolutely oblivious of that. And you're just having this conversation. You're just doing this. And that, and suddenly 10 years later, and this happened to me, I was having this interesting conversation with someone in France. And we were just talking about, the shamanic work and things like that. And then 10 years down the line, I see her across the way in a circle in a shamanic meeting. And I'm going, I know that woman. I know that woman. And then suddenly she comes over to me and she says, yes, I'm here because of you. And I was like, what did I do? She said, well, you told me about this, so I came and I decided to train. I was like, okay. Right. Good.
Yeah.
This is good because we need more people let's go and be catalysts then.
Because you never know who needs to hear your voice, who needs to get your advice, who needs to learn of your journey. So it's going to motivate them to move along. Okay, Kee Kee, what is your bit of wisdom for embracing or conquering external barriers?
My wisdom. I think, it's talking about change, right? Like, I feel like sometimes I want to go back to what you said about sometimes change is just forced upon you by the universe. And, I can think of times in my life, like when I wouldn't leave that job and I was eventually laid off during the recession. And the universe, I look back now and I think it took things into its own hands and shook up my life and made the change for me because I was stuck. And so my wisdom is let that happen. Sometimes the universe does step in and make the change for you, and it throws a wrench in your plans so you can use that tool to fix what's broken and to build something new, and just stay open to it.
Okay, so basically let the universe do its thing.
Let the universe do its thing, but I believe in free will too. So if you want to make a change and the universe isn't doing it for you, take steps towards that change.
Okay, so take action regardless. But
Yeah.
I think that the point or the thread that I'm trying to pull at is that there are external factors. There are people who are going to be stuck in that bad job forever, or they're going to be stuck in that bad relationship or with that terrible roommate. I remember years ago, I said to a friend, who was always complaining about the commute and his terrible roommate. And I said, you can move. Never occurred to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
We get stuck. We get stuck and we get caught up in this idea that this tornado was going around us and we are the only still silent piece in the whole of the puzzle. And basically, it's about belief. It's about the beliefs that we are domesticated with, the beliefs that we are given and gifted that, oh, well, you'll never get another job, so you better stay in that one. You need the security. You need to have this. You need to do this. You need to, well, with me, it was, you're going to be a secretary because that's a good job, and you only need to do it until you get married and have children. Oh, guess what didn't happen there? So basically, it was a case of what we are gifted comes down the line. So it can be an inherited, ancestral inheritance of values and beliefs that are no longer actually serving us.
Yeah.
And we might not just be the kind of person that does that. Not everybody wants to be a secretary because they're in a certain economic level of life. Not everybody needs to be married. Not everybody needs to have a whole load of money or actually needs to look out and say, yeah, I'm going to go and take on the world. Some people just want to be quiet, and that's good for them. But if you're treading water and you're just doing it to keep yourself in one place because of this fallacy that is control, because we don't really have control over anything apart from how we deal with it. That's the only control we have. And basically, we can keep ourselves safe and we can keep ourselves stuck in the cul-de-sac. We can tread water. We can just sit here. But it's so exhausting. I mean, if you want to do it, just go with the flow and see what happens.
So
I think also if you get off that hamster wheel and you make the change in your life and you start living a fulfilling life the way you want to live, you emit this light that makes it safe for other people to make a change. And you really, it's almost like a virus, that's contagious from one person to another, but in a good way. Just live life like you want to live life, and that gives other people permission to do the same.
Oh, I love that so much because it's the energy. The energy is contagious.
Yeah.
Troy, any other thoughts before we go to gifting goals?
Yeah, and if I can, because I always ruin movies with my wife every time. Now, when I say this, and it may ruin it for you, so trigger warning, you've been warned. Sometimes we have to always acknowledge, if we're speaking of energy, that we are the main character in this story. And most times we're watching movies and like, is this person going to fall? They're going to get hurt. It's over. Then I'm like, they got plot armor. They're not going anywhere. They're going to get out of this. They're going to be perfectly fine. And sure enough, no matter how dramatic the music is, no matter they cut the black, oh my gosh, they survived. They came out of the other side. It's miraculous, the transformation. We need to tap into that same energy for ourselves. I had some traumatic things happen the last 3 weeks. I'm not even kidding. And I find it odd that every time something happens to me, I'm end up on Deb's show and now I have to speak life energy. And I'm like, internal, like, this is like the worst week ever so far. And yet here's just sunshine. But if you can tap into that sunshine on a dark day, imagine what you can on a good day. So bringing this to a close, like embrace that main character energy. The plot twists, that this bad thing happened. Oh, I must have a great thing coming for me that's better than what this was. And I won't know about it for a couple of weeks or months, however long hindsight. I'm like, I'm so glad that happened to me because look where I'm at now. And we just have to embrace that energy and watch things just start. If we're going to speak on puzzles, things just start falling into place once we stop. As Leslie echoed, start flowing and going against the current. Let's just go with this flow and see where I'm supposed to lead. It could spit me out on an amazing beach that I didn't even want, didn't even know, because I just should embrace that main character energy.
Okay, so are you going to be scared to accept invitations from me in the future?
Never.
Because apparently,
never. I'm always committed to you.
Well, and I love having you here. And like I said, it's been too long, so we'll have to get you back on the sooner. But this is, I think, tying it back to habits. It starts with belief. You need to believe that your life can be different. You need to take action and you need to own it, right? Because and then when you own it, again, what you were, and I loved Kee Kee's statement, you emit light. You know, when you are doing the thing you love, other people notice and they want to be in your light. They want to be uplifted. So why wouldn't you be the beacon if you have the choice between beacon and gloom and doom? And the whole main character thing, I think I brought this up last week or the week before, or probably both. It's really easy to forget when you're mired by all of the craziness of the world that you have control. And so control what you can and kind of wing it the rest of the way. I mean, you can't always do that, but when you can, it's going to make life a heck of a lot easier, for sure. I want to really quickly say hello to the others who joined us live. Our buddy Chris Stone was watching earlier. I hope you're still here. If not, well, hello anyway. And then we've got Jay and Kenneth and Leslie and William. I think there's one more. Did I say Christy? And I think there's a Jeremy in here. If you are watching, we are so glad that you're witnessing this just amazing moment, and also embrace the moment. Okay, what habit do I need to change? Or maybe I don't need to change any. I just need to lean in more to what I'm doing, what brings me joy, and let that be the habit, as it were, that dominates. One other thing I will share is, 52 secrets for goal setting and goal getting. This is like a choose your own adventure. So you could basically say, okay, universe, what do I need to learn today? Create your own community was the one I landed on. But what do I need to learn today, and take it out for a spin, or take any of the recommendations from the show and say, I'm going to try that. I'm going to take it out for a spin and see if it makes my life better. I'll keep doing it. If it has no effect, or no way, then that's fine. Every day is a choice. Every goal is a choice. Every habit is a choice. Okay, so friends, what goal do you wish to gift people? So what is something that they could do today, tomorrow, immediately to change a habit, or just embrace who they are, as it were? Leslie, what goal are you gifting today?
I'd like people to remember that we weave the cloth of our limitations with the thoughts that we think, those threads of thoughts that keep coming in day after day. So I want to gift you the goal of catching those thoughts and putting them to one side and making some new ones.
Oh,
Allow yourself to think different.
catch the negative thoughts and put
Yeah,
them to
yeah,
the side.
and put them to the side and actually gift yourself the idea, the influence, and the knowledge that you write your own story. It's up to you. You're the author.
Ah, that's good. So one of my mom's favorite things was the words stop. If ever anything negative, all you do is you yell stop, and it's just it shakes. It's a pattern disrupt, I believe, is what you would say.
Yep. That's exactly it.
So excellent. Okay, Kiki, what goal are you gifting today?
I am gifting the goal of this I Welcome Change sticky note challenge. So I would encourage people to take a stack of sticky notes, write one small change they welcome into their lives, whether it be I welcome a healthier way of eating, or I welcome going for a walk every day, or I welcome a new job. And whatever it is, write it on sticky notes, stick it around your house so you're reminded throughout the day to make small steps towards that goal.
Ah, perfect. I love it. And if you want to put in the comments what you welcome, go for it. We would love to hear it and cheer you on. Okay, Troy, goal.
Gratitude and laughter. If something bad happens, just take a second, be grateful, and laugh. Your mind can't tell the difference. Just deflate the air so you can think through things a little bit differently. We spend so much time worrying. I'm a worrier. I can acknowledge that. I worry all the time. Not in a weird way, but I think 10 steps ahead all the time. I need to stop doing that. So I need to take a breath and enjoy, because time in perpetuity. It's not changing tomorrow. I might as well enjoy some hours of my day and not worry about it all the time. So be grateful and laugh more.
Oh, I love it. So these aren't just for changing habits. These are just for making your life better, which is the whole point, right? This is why we set goals, because we want things to be better. We know things can be better. And even if it's like the little hop of faith rather than the leap of faith, the little things that you do are going to add up. Okay, friends, where can people learn more about you? Kiki?
They can go to my website, which is keekeebuckley.com, and they can also read my book, which is called Seeking Shama, Me, My Dog, and the Road to Inner Peace. Thank you. I don't even have it with me, so I appreciate that.
Amazing. Okay, and Leslie, where can people learn more about you?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and Stress Less on Facebook, and Spiral Heart 4 is there. Basically, yeah, just you can get me there all the time.
Excellent. And Troy, where can people learn more about you?
You can find me at Find Troy, everywhere on the internet.com. Every social handle is Find Troy, or you can just put it on wherever you want to go. ChatGPT, it'll pull you up and you'll find me. So I'll see you there.
Amazing. Okay, and I am at the Deb Method everywhere. And if you go to thedebmethod.com/blog, you will get the recap. You will hear the goals and some of these wonderful words of encouragement and inspiration. So again, thedebmethod.com/blog. I am live every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And you can subscribe to the GoalChat podcast at your favorite podcast platform. And if you want to learn even more about me, you can learn more at thebookproposalexpert.com. And we have in the chat people already taking your welcome challenge. Jeremy welcomes less procrastination. And wait, there's one more in here if I can get up here. And Christy welcomes less pain. We welcome that for you as well. So anyone and everyone else, please let us know you welcome and what you welcome. And if there's anything any of us can do to support you, feel free to reach out. In the recap, I also put everybody's website and LinkedIn, so you've got access to them as well. Oh my goodness. I love these conversations. I always feel like so warm, fuzzy-y, but also like, okay, world, what can we do even more of to be out there and to show up bigger and better? Because that not only makes a difference in our lives, it makes a difference in the lives of people around us. Okay, friends, what are your final thoughts? Leslie, final thought?
I think that change is good. It happens all the time. It's inevitable. The only thing that's certain is uncertainty. You might as well just go with it.
You might as well, because you really have no choice, right?
It's happening anyway. With or without you, it's going to be there.
Okay, excellent. Okay, Troy, final thought?
For those who don't know, I'm a big Lion King fan. I've watched it more time. We didn't grow up with cable, so I watched it a lot. So remember who you are. When you stack up everything you've endured your whole life, you'll start to think you're a pretty powerful human being. I'm a 3-time brain surgery survivor, for Christ's sake. It's not that serious. We can survive anything. So list what you have achieved, what you have survived. And when you crunch to that next big villain, that big thing you got to deal with, let me look back, see everything I've done. I got this. I'll get through it. And you will. And you will.
Okay, wait. 3-time brain surgery survivor.
Yeah.
I have known you for years, and do you realize this is the first time you've shared that?
I don't think so, but I don't know. It's possible. But yes.
I think I would have remembered that.
We'll talk off it offline.
No, I was sick when I was a baby. So I lived my life knowing that I was here for purpose. But we're all here for purpose. And I think whether or not you had, and we've all had our ups and downs and traumas and what have yous, our challenges, but we're all here for a reason. So remembering that, I think, also makes the journey a lot easier, because you're not here for you, you're here for the world. Okay, Kee Kee, final thought to you, my friend.
All right. Final thought is, I want everyone to please give yourself permission to be someone other than who you've always been, if that's what you choose.
Okay. Oh, I like that you added that, because if you're good with who you are, keep it.
Why make a change? Yeah.
Okay, I'm just writing this down for the recap. Give yourself permission to be someone different from what you've always been, if that's what you want. Well, but that really, it ties a really nice ribbon around this conversation, because it's your life, it's your goals, it's your choice. Your habits are also a choice. So to remember, to get what you want, you need to know what that is. Make a plan to turn the life you want into reality. Go out there and go for it, because we know you can do it. Thanks, everyone.
Love that.